I am a 26-year-old woman. My older sister Tiffany, 31 years old, has an issue with needing attention and one-upping me, and my other sister Chloe, 28 years old. Ever since we were kids, if we had something big happen or won any type of award, Tiffany would inject herself and try to pull attention away. It was never really confronted, and our parents would tell Chloe and me that, she is self-conscious and paranoid about not having attention, just let it go. As an example, she told Chloe that she couldn't introduce her new boyfriend, now husband, to our family or bring him to events when they started dating, because they got together the same month that she, Tiffany, got engaged. And it would pull attention from her because everyone would want to get to know the new guy instead of focusing on the wedding. She tried to ban him from the wedding, which got overruled. Additionally, she tried to schedule her wedding the same day as my college graduation, knowing it was my graduation, but trying to pick it anyway because it was the perfect day. And I already got the experience at my high school graduation, so it doesn't matter if I miss this one. She got overruled on this one too. Well, fast forward to 3 weeks ago. Chloe got a new dog that she is very excited about and sent a photo to our family group chat saying we are excited to announce a new member of our family. Meet Bess. Everyone was messaging back, commenting on how cute the dog is, how excited they are that Chloe got a dog, etc. Well, cue Tiffany. Not an hour after Chloe's message, she sent this. Well, congrats on the new dog. Speaking of new additions, baby T is due this November. I was pissed. This is exactly the same type of crap she always pulls. And I knew how excited Chloe was about this dog, and I felt it was a passive-aggressive weenie move. I saw Chloe later, and she was putting on a brave face, but it was clear that she knew Tiffany had done this to one-up her yet again. Here is where I would be the jerk. I know for a fact that Tiffany's worst nightmare is for one of us to be pregnant at the same time as her. She has told a family member I talk to regularly that if I or Chloe were pregnant at the same time as her, it would ruin her pregnancy because we would be taking attention from her. Well, I found out yesterday I am pregnant with my first, and here's where I need judgment. Would I be the jerk if I announced my pregnancy in the family group chat using Tiffany's exact message? For example, well, congrats on the new baby. Speaking of new additions, baby M is due this January. Petty? Very. But would I be the jerk? To add, that came up in a comment. My husband and I are over the moon about this step towards starting our family. I am a couple of months along, but didn't have symptoms, nausea, so we only just found out. Given I'm a couple of months in, we are ready to tell the family. Any way that we tell people is going to piss off Tiffany. It's more a question of doing this or phrasing it more delicately to microscopically reduce her anger. Also, I am genuinely happy for her on her pregnancy. I'm just frustrated that she was petty yet again. I hoped she would be over that by now, but it seems like it's gotten worse. Now for an update. Wow, this blew up. I'm going to add a little more info after reading some comments. My husband and I live across the country, and the rest of the siblings live at least a couple of hours from each other. The last family get-together was Christmas, so it's been a while. Due to distance, the majority of our big announcements happen over the group chat, although usually pregnancies come with photos and some kind of fanfare. Info. I shouldn't have used the word overruled on the wedding. With the boyfriend, Tiffany's fiancé said they should get to know him at a few events and get a sense of his vibe, and then make the call on the invite. The boyfriend is a super chill, kind guy, so Tiffany said he could come and moved on to a different problem. With my graduation, my parents said they would be attending, and my fiancé stepped in saying there was another date that month that he liked better / would work better. I did call my parents and let them know, and they are excited, though they told me that I should be delicate in how I phrase it to not upset Tiffany. I said this isn't her first child, and she should honestly be happy for me. If I had gotten pregnant just to spite her, I would get it, but my husband and I have been trying for a while, and we are super excited. They told me I should gush over her and say how happy and excited I am for her, and then add how excited I am to have kids so close together. I'm not honestly sure how happy about that I am, though. I want my child to have family and cousins. but I'm not sure how much I want her to be around Tiffany since she is a major gossip and negative busybody. I would much rather have her be around Chloe's kids. I also called Chloe, asked how she's been, and generally caught up, then told her. She is thrilled for us and super excited to be an auntie again. We talked a little about the back and forth in the group chat, and she laughed and said, "It was inevitable. If it wasn't a baby, it would have been a new thing about one of her other kids or a new recipe or something." She said she would leave it up to me how I announce it. She also sent me more photos of Bess, and honestly, cutest freaking dog I've ever seen. Chloe has had a really tough year, and Bess is her husband's gift to her for weathering the storm and being amazing. Everyone in the family knows this, so it was very apparent Tiffany was trying to quash all that. We've put up with Tiffany's shenanigans for years and never pushed back because we wanted to be sensitive to her insecurities. But in the last couple of years, she has really upped the ante. Chloe's kids have allergies, so Tiffany went and called several members of the family saying that she's just doing it for attention and that the kids aren't actually allergic. They definitely are. She only calls me to gossip about other people, and when I've shut it down or said you seem really concerned and I'm not there to see for myself, so maybe you need to talk to the person directly if it really is this big of an issue. She comes up with excuses and then will ghost me for weeks to months. I am honestly worried that she will try to name steal/gossip or lie about my husband and me to family members no matter what I do. I should be able to find out the gender through a blood test in a few weeks. Tiffany has not announced the gender yet, and I'm leaning towards announcing to everyone else then. Also, to everyone who commented along the lines of as Palpatine Sidious said, "Do it. Thanks for the laughs." Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Frankly, I would make a huge fuss about the dog. I would go see your sister and take tons of photos or ask for photos and post them, helping to make Chloe's announcement special and making her happy. Announce yours on a different day so that your baby's day is more about them. But that's just my opinion. I'm not into competing, and Chloe does not need to be pushed further into the background. Good luck. Comment 2. Not the idiot, but I would be a bit pettier. Instead of using her language, say something like, "Congratulations. It will be so exciting to watch our babies grow up together. Having cousins that are close in age is such a blessing, and I'm glad I won't be on this journey to motherhood alone, even though I am a bit behind, as baby M is due in January." And then, if she reacts badly, she will look like the ah. Now for the update. My last post was all about my stupid sister Tiffany and her constant need for attention. I was trying to figure out how to announce my own pregnancy without her trying to overshadow me again. I finally decided I would wait until the gender reveal party for the baby to announce it. My other sister Chloe invited everyone to this cute little local bakery that specializes in gender reveal cakes for the party. I felt so excited as I prepared for the event. I imagined how Tiffany would react when the blue frosting was revealed. I was like, yes, this is going to be amazing. The day of the party came and I was so ready. My parents, Chloe, and her boyfriend were already there when I arrived. The bakery was really adorable with its decorated balloons and banners. We took a ton of pictures before the main event. Everyone was in such a good mood, which made me feel even more excited. But of course, Tiffany had to arrive late with a grand entrance, wearing this new designer handbag that she was practically screaming about. She was clearly trying to steal the spotlight again. Like, focus on something else for once. As everyone gathered for the cake cutting, I could feel the anticipation and anxiety building inside of me. I hoped she wouldn't ruin this moment like she did so many others. Chloe gave a heartfelt speech about family and support, which set the tone for the reveal. I stood next to Chloe, holding my breath as we cut into the cake together. The cake revealed blue frosting, indicating I was having a boy. Everyone cheered, and I felt so happy. I did notice Tiffany's smile fading for a brief second, but she quickly recovered and congratulated me with exaggerated enthusiasm. I knew it was fake, but I didn't care. I would take what I could get. Instead of being genuine, she took that moment to talk about her own children, redirecting all the attention back to herself like she always does. Everyone was enjoying cake, and Tiffany pulled me aside, asking to talk privately. My heart started racing. What was she up to? She said she had been feeling overwhelmed with her own parenting challenges and wanted to bond over our shared experiences. I was surprised, but agreed to chat with her, thinking maybe she was finally being sincere. During our conversation, she shared some story about her kids' recent struggles at school. Just as I was about to speak, she cut me off, shifting the topic back to herself. I was so annoyed by this. I felt like I was talking to a brick wall. Chloe then came in like a hero, suggesting we take a family photo to capture the moment. Everyone gathered around, and guess who had to stand in the center, insisting on being the focal point? Yep, Tiffany again. After the picture, she announced another family gathering next month, claiming it was to celebrate her children's achievements. I could only watch as her kids received praise yet again. I felt sidelined again. Like, can I have one moment that just belongs to me? A few days later, I got a message from one of my relatives about Tiffany spreading rumors regarding my pregnancy. I was baffled. What the hell was she talking about? I confronted her about the rumors during a family dinner later that week. I was ready to go off, but she just laughed it off, claiming she was just joking and didn't understand why I was upset. Are you kidding me right now? In a surprising twist, Chloe stepped in, revealing she overheard Tiffany telling friends about my pregnancy in a negative light. I was shocked. The family dinner became so awkward as Chloe and I confronted Tiffany together. She felt cornered and dramatically claimed she was just trying to keep the family close and wasn't trying to overshadow anyone. I was like, girl, bye. My parents intervened, suggesting everyone cool down and take a break from the conversation. I felt so done. A week later, Tiffany called, claiming she had a change of heart and wanted to reconcile. I was so skeptical, but we agreed to meet up at the same bakery for coffee. I just knew she was up to something. At the bakery, she showed up with a large gift bag, saying it was a surprise for the baby. Inside were baby clothes, but also a note that hinted at a big announcement she wanted to make. My gut was telling me something was off. As we sat down, her demeanor shifted, and she revealed she was considering moving closer to help support the family. Oh my God. Mini update. This news hit me like a ton of bricks. I was shocked and confused by her sudden desire to move. I knew she was doing this for attention, trying to steal my moment once again. I challenged her on her reasons for moving so far away from her home. She insisted she wanted to be more involved with her kids and our family. I couldn't believe her audacity. As we talked, I noticed she kept subtly pushing for me to agree with her, and it was infuriating. Am I the idiot for refusing to pay for my ex-girlfriend's pregnancy after finding out I'm not the father? About 11 months ago, I, 28-year-old male, found out that my girlfriend, 24-year-old female, was cheating on me. We had been together for 4 years and lived together for almost 2. I thought we had a great relationship. We got along well, had regular weekly dates, traveled a lot together, and had tons of plans for our future together. We had even talked about me proposing as soon as she got her finances in order. I found out she was sleeping with a guy who is a friend of a best friend's boyfriend. I told her to leave and that I never wanted to see her again. She went on and moved in with that best friend and her boyfriend. During that time, she never told her family that we broke up or no longer lived together. A few weeks after she moved out, she reached out and told me that she was pregnant and that she is certain that it's mine because they used condoms when she cheated. For context, my father passed away when I was a child, and I have very few memories of him. As a result, my family struggled, and it affected me for a long time. I told her that when the child is born and confirmed as mine, I'll take care of everything. Until then, leave me alone. A few weeks later, we met up, and she swore on everything that the baby is mine and said I should help cover pregnancy maternity expenses. I told her to keep receipts of everything she spends on pregnancy maternity stuff. After the child is born, if it's mine, I'll write her a check to cover all expenses. If it's not, then we'll part ways. She agreed. She then proceeded to get a midwife and a doula for herself, both pretty expensive, and she decided on a home birth. When the time came, the baby arrived early and there were complications. She was rushed to the hospital for an emergency C-section, and the baby was kept in the neonatal intensive care unit. On the day of the birth, I went to see her, and a nurse took me to see the baby. 2 weeks ago, she sent me receipts for everything, and it totaled over $40,000. She asked for money to pay the doula and midwife. I told her, let's wait for the DNA results. Well, it turns out I'm not the father. I told her I'm sorry, but she's on her own. She cried and said she and the child are ruined if I don't step up and help them. She went on about how we can have a successful relationship together and raise the kid, and how she has matured and will be a good partner. I told her I have no interest in raising someone else's child and to call the real father. Well, the guy is broke and works as a cashier at the local store. Now everyone in her family is trying to convince me to at least pay off the $40,000 before going our separate ways. I said no. Now for an update. I had to get a lawyer. She's still pushing the deadbeat dad narrative and painting me as the bad guy. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. You were very clear that you would not pay until there was a DNA test, and then only if the child was yours. It's not as if you told her you'd pay no matter what and then went back on it. She knew the situation from the beginning, and she gambled on the hope that the child turned out to be yours. Her gamble did not pay off. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Not only did your ex cheat on you, but she is also so irresponsible that she insisted on spending more for pregnancy expenses before learning whether or not you were the biological father of her child. She dug 2 holes for herself and 1 for her child. Not your child. Not your responsibility. Now for the update. It's been a little over 2 days since I found out I'm not the father. She texted me again, saying she was feeling overwhelmed with the baby and needed help. I got messages from her family, claiming I was abandoning her and the baby. They insisted on a family meeting to talk about the situation. I reluctantly agreed to meet at a local diner, thinking it might clear things up. Her mom was there, along with her sister and a couple of family friends. They immediately pressured me to take responsibility for the expenses. I explained the DNA results, saying I had no obligation to pay. Her mom started crying, saying I was tearing the family apart. The family friends chimed in, suggesting I reconsider for the sake of the baby. I repeated that I wasn't the father and didn't know anything. My phone buzzed with a text from her, asking if I was at the diner. I felt uneasy as her family became more aggressive in their demands. I noticed her sister scrolling through her phone, probably looking for something to back them up. They brought up how I had been involved in the pregnancy discussions before. I mentioned that was under the assumption I was the father. Her family painted me as the villain, saying I was heartless. I got home and saw a missed call from her, but ignored it. A few hours later, I got a text from her saying she was at my apartment. I didn't respond and went to bed, hoping she'd leave. The next morning, I found her waiting outside my door. She told me she had nowhere else to go and begged to talk. I reluctantly let her in, trying to keep things civil. She claimed she was struggling with the baby and needed my support. I reminded her of the DNA results and that I wasn't responsible. She started crying, saying she couldn't handle the judgment from her family. I mentioned again that she should contact the real father for help. She accused me of abandoning her when she needed me most. I told her I had my own life to worry about and couldn't get involved. She threatened to go public with the story, painting me as the bad guy. I told her I would contact a friend for advice, not wanting to deal with this alone. A week later, I got a letter from her family's lawyer demanding payment for the expenses. The entire situation escalated, with her family painting me as the irresponsible one. Possible future update. I can't believe this is happening. I've been getting calls and texts from her family and friends nonstop, and now I got a letter from a lawyer? Like, for real? I never thought it would get to this point, and honestly, I just want it to stop. I'm going to talk to my friend who's a lawyer and figure out what to do. If anything crazy happens, I'll make sure to update. Mini update. I spoke to my friend who's a lawyer. He advised me to gather all communication and documentation related to the situation. I feel a bit anxious about the next steps. Am I the idiot for calling out my sister's neglect and filing a report with social services? I, 29-year-old female, am currently living at my parents' place with my sister, 34-year-old female, and her kids, 16-year-old female, 14-year-old female, 10-year-old male, and 11-month-old. I moved in to help care for my mother who has cancer and to drive her around. My father can't drive due to a stroke, and my sister lost her driver's license. Since I work from home and have a flexible schedule, I am the best option for assisting my parents. The kids were a mess. My sister essentially has her own apartment in the house, so my parents never really checked in on her or the kids. One day, I noticed my 10-year-old nephew's hair was matted. I took him to a hairstylist who told me his hair was molding. My sister works during the day, but often doesn't come home until midnight and goes straight to sleep. I found this out because my niece asked me to show her how to cook, as her sister was getting physically sick from the ready meals in the fridge. One day, I heard the baby crying and realized my sister was leaving the baby at home. The 16-year-old believes it's her responsibility to take care of all the kids. She is burnt out and is failing many of her classes. When she found out she had to redo her grade, her mother screamed at her. I stepped in and told my niece it's okay and that I will help her get her grades up next year. I tried to talk to my sister, but she always ended up crying and saying how hard it is to be a single mom. However, I found out that her ex-boyfriends are sending her money for the kids, but she chooses to work part-time while trying to become a beauty influencer. Meanwhile, I have been taking care of the kids. They have become very attached to me and spend all their time in my part of the house. My sister hasn't seemed to care much. The main issue came when my 14-year-old niece won a prize for young storytellers. She wrote a story clearly coping with her home life and her hurtful mother. Her story was published in a magazine. She received $500 and won a one-week summer camp. At the ceremony, my niece thanked her siblings, my mother, and me, saying, "Thank you for being the mom I never had." My sister left abruptly and reappeared yesterday. She repeatedly asked if I was saying she was a bad mother. I tried to stay calm, but she kept pushing until I finally exploded and unloaded everything: the neglect, the lack of supervision, the emotional abandonment. I told her she was not fulfilling her responsibilities as a mother and that her kids deserved better. My sister, still furious, refused to listen and continued yelling, saying she was doing her best and I had no right to interfere. I told her that her best was not good enough and that her children were suffering because of her actions. I reiterated that the kids deserved a stable, nurturing environment and that I couldn't stand by and watch them be neglected. My sister ran away and told her daughter that if they hated her so much, then they were dead to her. My parents are confused and hurt that they didn't see what was going on. My mother has been crying since she found out, and my father, who has a temper problem, screamed some very threatening things at my sister. My nieces and nephew are distraught. The 10-year-old is furious at the 14-year-old for saying what she did because he thinks their mother is going to take them away, and the 16-year-old had a huge panic attack and fell down. I haven't properly slept, and my sister is sending me messages every 10 minutes telling me their life was good before me. I am at the end of my rope. Did I do something wrong? Should I have just kept my mouth shut? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1: I have never posted on Reddit before, and my friend helped me set up the account. I'm a bit confused by all the rules because different forums seem to have different ones. Please let me know if I'm breaking any rules or if there's another forum where I can find similar situations to see what others have done. Comment 2: your sister knows she is a bad mother, but could sweep it under the rug, also to herself. Now she is, rightfully, exposed. She can't deny it anymore and lashes out to you. You are a saint, but think before you kind of adopt the kids. It is a heavy load, can also be rewarding. Now for the update. 2 weeks after the confrontation, my sister sent me this text saying she was taking the kids for a surprise weekend trip. She didn't tell anyone else about it, just me. I was like, okay, what? But I didn't really reply. I just thought it was strange that she would do something like that. But then on Friday night, I saw on social media that they were at a nearby amusement park. My 14-year-old niece posted a story at the park, all excited and tagging her mom. I was just sitting there looking at the pictures and thinking, wow, so this is how we're doing things now. The sister came home late Sunday night, and I noticed the kids were unusually quiet. You could just feel the atmosphere was off. My sister was going on and on about how the trip had brought them closer together, just completely brushing off any concerns I had about their well-being. It was like she thought a trip to an amusement park would fix everything. The next day, I overheard the 10-year-old talking to the 14-year-old about how their mom promised them a new puppy if they behaved. I was like, no, we're not doing this again. So I confronted my sister about this promise, because the kids already had enough responsibilities on their plates. I mean, come on. The sister insisted they deserved a treat after a tough week. Tough week? I don't think a new puppy is what they need. I thought it would be nice to take the kids to a local community center to do some activities they wouldn't normally experience. Just something different, you know? But while we were at the center, the 16-year-old opened up to me about how overwhelmed she felt with school and home life. She asked me for help, and I just couldn't say no. So I started tutoring her in math and writing on the weekends. I guess the extra help was really needed. But of course, my sister accused me of trying to undermine her parenting, leading to yet another argument about priorities. She really has a way of making everything a personal attack, doesn't she? I noticed the kids were still coming to me for advice more than they did their mother. It was like they felt more comfortable talking to me. The sister started getting frustrated with the fact that I was the one they were turning to. During a family dinner, she brought up the tutoring, claiming it was unnecessary and undermining her authority. Like, really? The father defended me, which caused some awkwardness at the table. The 14-year-old even spoke up, saying she appreciated the help, which made my sister furious. She was just sitting there fuming. She threatened to take the kids away from me if I continued interfering. I mean, come on, is wanting what's best for them interference? So I started documenting the neglect with notes and photos, focusing on the kids' well-being. I just felt like I needed to have proof of what was going on. Then at a family gathering for my dad's birthday, my sister showed up late, reeking of alcohol. I saw the kids hiding in their rooms, which raised some serious alarms about their home life. Like, why were they hiding? My dad asked why the kids weren't at the party, and she brushed it off, saying they were fine. I wasn't buying it, so I decided to involve my parents in the situation. I showed them the notes and photos, and they were shocked. They confronted my sister about her behavior, and she just claimed I was exaggerating and trying to ruin her life. Typical. I proposed a family meeting to discuss the kids' needs, and she reluctantly agreed. At the meeting, she became defensive, calling me a meddler. The 10-year-old even mentioned feeling neglected and how much he loved spending time with me. My sister snapped, demanding the kids stay out of it and accusing them of betraying her. She just can't handle criticism, can she? The argument escalated, and she stormed out. That's when I decided to file a report with social services. It was necessary for the kids' safety, no matter how uncomfortable it made everyone. The social worker came and asked a ton of questions while observing the home environment. The kids expressed their discomfort with their mother's behavior during the visit, and I just felt like they really needed to be heard. But then my sister found out about the report and confronted me, threatening consequences. I just stood my ground, stating that the kids' safety was the top priority. This situation was just boiling over. She threatened to cut off all communication if I kept this up. Like, really? If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.